All right, welcome to the Franchise Time Machine. Should have another fun experiment tonight. Hang on a second, let me get my alt watching the stream. All right, should be good. All right, so we're gonna revisit an experiment I did in OTP 25 and 26. I think it's a very useful one to just kind of understand the impact each position can have on the team. And I found it especially helpful when thinking about things like creator roster and perfect drafts. So this will be. I don't know if it's going to tell us anything interesting. We have had interesting results in the past. I don't know. I don't know how it's actually going to play out in this one. But I'll explain it briefly, and then we'll go ahead and set it up. And then I do have to do a. I have to do a perfect draft. I think maybe after we set up, we set up the channel point wager. Maybe I'll do the draft while the ad's running. I'll do it on stream, but it'll be while the ad's running. Kumo, D-Block, Des, or Denny, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, Raiders. So I noticed you're having a hard time getting started today. Was it the ballpark, I guess, wasn't set up properly or something? In the historic ballpark mod, which is kind of a bummer. Because I know you're a big fan of the mods that are available. But I'm glad you were able to get it figured out. Okay, we've got another experiment today. So far, since the game has come out, we've used the completely average league to test the impact of various batting attributes, both what helps the most when it's boosted and what hurts the most when it's nerfed. And they are not symmetrical. So it's worth checking out those VODs. And then we did the same with pitching. Which attribute helps the most when it's boosted and which attribute hurts the most when it's nerfed. Again, not symmetrical. And I think in particular, if you play Red Rock League or PB eSIM or EMLB, any of the online leagues where you have to boost your players, or if you play creator roster, especially low ball creator roster, where you're looking for the impact of having high or low ratings, or if you just play the base game and trying to assess talent, I think like the last four VODs are really worth watching. And I'm not someone who promotes all my VODs all the time, but these are like really enlightening experiments. The last four, I would say, in particular. This one was really helpful in OTP25. Oh, thank you, Ezra. I appreciate it. Yeah, I feel like I feel like there've been a lot of insights this cycle. That's not always the case, but I think either the way the game has changed, or I think maybe we've just gotten better at running these experiments. But they've been very enlightening. So in this experiment, we have 8 teams. Each team is going to have one position boosted to like 550 at everything. Right? So one team will have a center fielder who's just an amazing fielder, amazing hitter, amazing base runner. We're not going to go two-way players because I think that would kind of blow the experiment. Then one team will have a corner outfielder, and I think right field will be the most formal, so we'll take right field. Second base, shortstop, corner infield. I think third base is probably more important than first base. In real baseball, it's arguable because the first baseman has to make a lot of stretches and scoops. I think I think in OTP, I think third base might be more important. Catcher, and then starting pitcher, relief pitcher, and I think that'll cover all 8 teams that we have. Usually, we run them in 2 separate 4-team leagues with no interleague play. We have 2 experiments running at once, but I want all 8 of these teams to play against each other. So we're either going to have to combine them into one league, which is a bummer because we'll lose the All-Star break. We'll lose the World Series. We'll just basically have teams 1 and 2 playing against each other. Oh, you lose the playoffs. You'll just have the World Series. But I mean, what's important to me is that we get the data from the season, and what we're going to look for is which team has the best run differential, right? Because for the batters, the offense from the perfect player should help create more runs, and the defense should help reduce runs. And then especially this experiment will include pitchers, right? So the starting pitcher and the relief pitcher, presumably they will reduce the runs allowed. So the genesis of this experiment was people kept saying like you're wasting your pick if you take a catcher in the perfect round of a perfect draft. And this is like the OG perfect draft where you get one perfect, one diamond, 2 golds, right? 2 golds, and then you get 5 irons at the end. And I understood the rationale, right? Catchers need more rest, including in perfect drafts. And also, the common wisdom was you're wasting your perfect pick if you take a relief pitcher. So I ran this experiment in 25, 26, and now we're going to run in 27. Now, in 25, framing was really big. And because of that, taking a catcher in the perfect round was actually very much worth it. Because the framing was helping the team on almost every pitch. And it actually overcame the fact that they were resting more days. Now that didn't happen in 26 because framing was no longer as important. But in 25, I started taking, if there was a good framing catcher in the perfect round, I started taking, or at least considering, right? I wasn't automatically dismissing them. And, there's a million things that happen in perfect drafts, but it did coincide with me doing better in drafts, and that kind of carried on into 26, and where I had a lot of success, especially in weekly perfect drafts. Now, I stopped taking catchers because framing was clearly less important in 26. But that was like an eye-opening experiment in 25 where the conventional wisdom seemed to be wrong because people weren't factoring how important framing was every pitch. Well, so nerve-wracking, these things don't exactly translate 1-to-1 to perfect draft, but it would also say you're kind of assuming you're not having any 7-game series. If you have 7-game series, that catcher takes a lot of days off. And catchers can get fatigued to the point their 1 day off will not recover them. And so if you have several 7-game series in a row, your catcher's going to get really broken down. Barry Basher bring up an interesting point. Would rather take a relief pitcher over a starting pitcher if I have to in perfect/diamond rounds, but tend to lean hitters in those 3. Yeah, and I think the reason I'd be curious to know, Barry Basher, why you lean relief pitcher in those. Is it because they can play more games versus once every 5 days? And you can, for me, part of it is like you're relying on the AI to use them in the high leverage situations wisely. I don't trust the AI that much, but I'd be curious to hear your rationale on that. But yeah, I tend to go position players over pitchers in the first 3 rounds for sure. So D-Block also agreeing that RP is better than SP in the early rounds. Yeah, okay, so it's because the dominant closer can play more than 1 game every 5. Is that right? So that's D Block's rationale too, especially in modern perfect draft. Yeah, I would take a starting pitcher in dead ball for sure, because then you're starting once every 3 games instead of once every 5 games. But so I understand. I agree with you on that. It's not that starting pitchers aren't effective. It's just that they don't get in enough games. And that was also one of the knocks on catchers, right? They don't play enough games. So we're gonna just let the data speak for itself, and we'll see what happens tonight. Again, doesn't translate directly to perfect draft, but I think it does translate pretty well to things like creator roster, because this is a much more similar format to creator roster. All right, so let's run this. And again, if you haven't seen the last 4 streams, boosted batting attributes, nerfed batting attributes, boosted pitching attributes, and nerfed pitching attributes, I do think you should check out the VODs, especially if you play online leagues, especially if you play base game. I think they're really helpful to understand that what attributes are more important than others, and that the fact that it's not symmetrical. The order in which they help to be boosted is not the order in which they hurt when they're nerfed. And that, I think for me, that was the biggest takeaway. So definitely check out those VODs. All right, so let's go ahead and set this up. Yeah, I have been. In fact, D-Block, thank you for bringing that up. If you're not already following my YouTube channel, please do, because I'm applying for Twitch Partner. I'm gonna apply for Twitch Partner every March, because it turns out March is when people watch my stream the most. Because I think I'm doing stuff like this. And one of the things they ask you is like, do you have a community, or in another platform? They ask specifically about TikTok and YouTube. And I do when I remember, and I'm trying to be a lot better about it in OOTP27. I export my content to YouTube. I don't do anything with it, so it's very disorganized, but you can at least find it there. But I think it seems like it would probably help me if you could follow me on YouTube as well. And it's the same username as Franchise Time Machine. I actually put a pinned a comment about it in the Discord too, in the general channel. But here's a link. If you could, yeah, D Block. The thing is, I don't necessarily want all my VODs to be uploaded. Like the pack ripping ones, I'm not sure I necessarily want to upload. The ones where I have lots of like technical issues, I don't want to upload. And so, thank you, Nerd America. I appreciate that. And on YouTube, it's called subscribing, but you don't actually pay. It's just following. It's the same as following on Twitch. It's unfortunate that it's called subscribe, because I worry that people think like, oh, I don't want to pay to follow this guy's YouTube channel. But it's called subscribe, but you're actually just following. Thank you, D-Block. I appreciate it. All right, so let's go and set this up. It's going to be a new game. We are going to use our quick start. I think we're up to quick start number 4. I keep finding little issues that we correct. All right, this is going to be experiment in OP27. This is episode 623, and this is positions. Perfect positions. It's a fun one. It's pretty simple. The results are pretty clear usually, and every once in a while, like with a catcher framing, you run into like a fun surprise. Now, the way the game has been playing so far, I'm not anticipating a big surprise, but you never know. I did this in 25 pretty late in the cycle, where I already knew framing was really important. And part of the reason I wanted to run this was because I was starting to doubt the conventional wisdom that you shouldn't take a catcher. And And it's always nice to have some experimental data to back up or to to disprove your hypothesis. All right, we do have to set the mailbox settings. They do not import. And apparently, I was watching Ophi when she was on her partner push, her Twitch partner push, and she was saying apparently like people lurking helps a lot. So for the next month or so, if you happen to see me on, if you don't mind jumping in and just lurk in the channel, apparently it'll help me out. So I would appreciate that. All right, so let's go ahead and name the teams. Oh, let's also see how we can get everyone into the same league. Or if we can get interleague play to treat them as like equally as if they were in the same league, we can do it that way. Oh, hey, Cobra. Coming in from Ezra stream. Now, look, I'm a Mets fan. I don't like the Dodgers, but I don't hate them as much as Ezra, so I won't be giving you as hard of a time. That's true. Nerdavanky never just lurks. For better or for worse. Alright, let's go to game settings, league settings, leagues. Well, first let's go to interleague play. What options does it give us for interleague play? Does it let us adjust the degree of interleague play? Bear Basher, thank you for the scritches for Crouton. He is right here. Hey, buddy, these are Bear Basher scritches. Alright, went ahead and closed the door, too. Oh, interesting, D-Block. Thanks for letting me know that. If you lurk, it helps extremely to just say hello when you come in. Twitch looks at the number of chatters, too, to determine partnership. Okay. And D-Block is a Twitch partner, so he would know. So thank you for that. So Cobra, thank you for chatting. First-time chatter. Nerd of Anarchy, I will now not wish that you only lurked. Now that I know that information. Oh, Cobra, thank you for the follow. I'm on most nights at 10 p.m. Pacific time. I also stream Fridays at 4 p.m. Pacific time. Netherwarden, thank you for the first time chat. Interferes with your lurking. Yeah, I guess from what D-Block is saying, it's just to say hi and then just do your thing. Just hang out and chill or ignore. Go walk away from the keyboard. Also, tomorrow, I might do a daytime stream. I think there was an opening on the calendar, and I will have some flexibility, so I think I put myself on there. Yeah, at 11 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow, I'm going to start to do some of those player creation experiments. Bear Basher, thank you. Apparently that will help, so I appreciate that. You might wake up to find yourself in Midnight Sumo or in some arts and crafts stream. So as long as you don't mind that. Oh, Shade Raven, thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate that. Big Fat E, one of your CCPs is a big Dodger fan too. Huh. Yeah, I think there are a lot of the online league folks that are perfect team players and around collecting drops and stuff. Hey, 1,000 followers. Who was that just followed? Let me check. Save 5 SAV. Is that save? SAV 510 OOTP. Thank you for the follow. Now I know the way these things work. We'll probably hit 1,000 followers a few times because people will drop off and then other people will follow. Bots will get deleted and other people will follow. But no, I appreciate the follows. All right, there is somewhere in here there is an interleague play box that we check. And I'm wondering if it lets us adjust the degree of interleague play. Is it here? No. Is it here? No. I thought it was here. Oh, interleague play enabled. It doesn't let you select to what degree there's interleague play. So I don't trust it. I'm worried that it'll just be a few games. So let's go to leagues and teams and let's just functions, edit league structure. And we'll move everyone into the same league. So we're going to move this team into the average league and move this team into the average league. Move this team into the average league and move this team into the average league. And then we're going to delete the sub league. Okay, now everyone should play each other hopefully the same amount of times. Oh, I could have used balanced schedule. Okay, let me see where that is. I'm learning something new tonight thanks to Barry Basher. Yes, I am a Mets fan. It is a terrible burden. It was especially rough during the time the Yankees were really good every year, and yeah, it was a bad time. Balance schedule. Where is balance schedule? Oh, schedule balance. Use balance schedule and then set interleague play. Okay. Well, I've already merged it, but thank you for letting me know that. I'll try that the next time.
Why do you keep following me around?
That's funny, D Block. It held the word nutting from your message. Well, Nick, thank you for the follow. Welcome in. Okay, so I will try that next time, Barry Basher. But for now, I've already merged everybody, so we're going to be in the same league. Now, I always find it helpful to rename the teams first, so I don't mess anything up. All right, so there'll be a team catcher. There'll be a team. I guess let's go up the middle. There'll definitely be a team second base. There'll be a team shortstop. There'll be a team center field. There'll be a team corner outfield, and it's going to be right field. There'll be a team corner infield, and I think we're going to make that third base. There'll be a team starting pitcher, and there'll be a team relief pitcher. Now, this is interesting because we had a few people in chat who do take relief pitchers over starting pitchers. We'll see how that plays out here. All right, so let's go into each of these teams and we'll start making these edits. All right, team second. Oh, because it's the only team with a number. Team second base is first. All right, so infielder 1 is starting at second base. We're gonna just make him a second base, but we're gonna take away all other position ability except second base. Otherwise, I think the AI would be tempted to play this guy at shortstop. So yeah, this guy becomes 550 and everything. And he's going to become maxed out in all defense. But he's only going to be able to play second base. I'm hoping that the barrier to get trained up at shortstop will be enough to keep the AI from playing him at shortstop. If it doesn't happen that way, then we're gonna have to rerun the sim, and I might have to tone down the defense. Or the other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna set the strategy. Wait, I thought every team should be under my control. Yeah, I think that's what I want. Did I not do this? I thought this was part of quick start number 4. Oh, it just is put all teams under human control, not necessarily my control. I think that's fine. Okay, now I should be able to make the change I wanted to make. Which is, I'm going to set his... Wait, I'm still not getting the option to set his strategy. I thought I could access strategy from the actions menu. Isn't there usually right above set position is set strategy? Well, it seems like a change. I don't like that change. Okay, anyway, we're going to forward start him at second base. And he's not able to pinch hit if tired. All right, so that's it for this team. You know what? Let's change his name too. He is now perfect second base. Oh, and if you change a name, you have to hit enter after each change. You don't have to do that with the numbers, but with the names, you have to change them. Okay, so that team is done. So next up we have team catcher. And here's the starting catcher. Oh, I forgot to make his secondaries. The other guy's secondary is perfect too. We'll go back and change that. 550, 550, 550, 550, 550. We'll do his secondaries right now. 250, 250, 250, 250, 250, 250. Catcher ratings, 250, 250, 250. Now this guy, I'm not as worried about the AI trying to play with other positions. Second base, definitely worried that AI will try to play in center field. Right field, definitely worried that the AI is going to try to play in center field. Yeah, I thought there used to be... So now we have to go to profile and then strategy. Which is a waste of my time, man. Starting him a catcher. Alright, let's go back to team second base and let's boost our guy's secondary attributes. $250, $250. And on this one, I think I am going to have it. Hold on, let me think about this. Do I want to have it run the modifiers after? Let's try it with the modifier still off and see what happens. I think we'll still get what we want out of that. I'm worried that if I set the follow-on modifiers, then it'll nerf too many players and it won't be against an average league anymore. But I could be wrong about that. All right, team center field. Now, some of these we got lucky because you set each team to just have one center fielder, starting center fielder, and one starting shortstop. So those guys will be relatively easy to adjust. So again, 550s across the board. $250 on the secondaries. You know what? I'm not going maximum on the batting attributes. I'm going up to 550. I think let's do the same on the. I'll go back and adjust the other teams. We're going to go to 225. The reason I do this and the reason I don't go to 600 is I worry that there are artifacts that occur at the far edges or the far extremes of 1 or 600. And so I've been going to 50 and 550. And I think for the 250s, it makes sense to cut it off a little bit too. So we'll go up to 225. And I'll go back and adjust the others. Experience I'm not afraid of. Experience I think 200 is fine. So let's go back to second base. And let's adjust these all to 225. Oops. Okay. And then catcher we adjusted already too. Oh, Speckle redeeming scriptures for Crouton. Thank you, Speckle. Hey, buddy. Speckle's back. We got Speckle scriptures for you tonight. Yeah. We missed you the past, was it night or two? I think we haven't had Speckle. Oh, okay. I'll look for that. I feel out of the loop on Ophi's community because Ophi hasn't been streaming. Alright, so that catcher is done. The thing, I forgot to assign the center fielder, lock him into center field. Now this one I'm less worried about because I do think the AI would play him in center anyway. But we will lock him into center field just to be consistent. Alright, next up is a perfect corner infielder. We're going to go with third base here. If anyone in chat wants to argue for first base instead of third base here, I'm open for it. I think if it were real baseball, I would consider first base a lot more. But I think in the way these games sim, I think third base might actually be the higher leverage position. Oh, Speckle, I just thought maybe you weren't watching streams as much because Ophi hasn't been streaming. So I just thought you were out doing real life things. I hope the family events were good family events and not sad family events. Okay, so this is team third base. We can just go right here to the starting third baseman. Is you leaving the house? Never. Okay, so this is perfect third base. Oh, you know what? I don't think we renamed some of the other guys. So let's go back and rename them. While we're here, let's go ahead and adjust the strategy too. For start at third base. All the March birthdays. Oh, that's interesting. So all the March birthdays means lots of getting it on in May or June. Oh, Barry Busher, were you experimenting with interleague play and balanced schedule? All right, so this will be a perfect third baseman. Close to perfect. We could have gone to 600, but we're going to go to 550. Wait a second. Soon to be a fourth. Do you have news? Or is that a relative? 225. And just third base. We have to turn all of these off except for third base. Oh, Baba's older brother is having a kid on the 27th. Congratulations. Are you going to be... You're not going to be a first-time auntie, are you? All right, let's go back and look at the names. I think I forgot to rename some of these guys. Perfect second base is already there. I'm assuming the AI is not going to leave him batting eighth. I did not rename perfect catcher yet, so let's rename perfect catcher. Perfect catcher. Perfect center fielder. I'm pretty sure I did not rename him. You know what's interesting? The AI is leading off the center fielders everywhere. Even though they're the same as everybody else, the AI... What leadoff bias to lead off the center fielder? Just because they play center field. They're the same as everybody else. Oh yeah, perfect center fielder. If it's biological, it's your fifth niece or nephew. If you count step siblings, case it's your 11th. I didn't realize you had so many step siblings. Someday I'll have to learn the Speckle family tree. The undoxing version of the Speckle family tree. All right, next up is a corner outfielder. We're going with right field. Mostly because of that throw from right field to third base. I think right field is probably the higher leverage corner outfield position. Well, that's true, but I don't have the information I need to find your step siblings or your nieces or nephews. Let's see. Let's do the strategy while we're here. This is going to be a right fielder. For start at right field. And let's update those batting ratings. 550, 550, 550, 550, 550. Secondary is to 225. Outfield attributes to 225. One day you won't distract me from baseball. Today's not that day. Yeah, today is today's a fine day to distract me, I think. Okay, so perfect right fielder is done. Okay, this will be interesting, the relief pitchers. Now, fortunately, I kept track of the formula I used to get the stuff up to 550. So, you know, they already put RP8 in the closer position, so we will edit RP8. Perfect. RP. Pitch ratings. Okay, the way we got to perfect the 550 stuff 100 plus velo, 550 fastball, 415 slider. Yep, we're at 549 right there. Oh, no, the RP. Oh, I think these have to go to 0. Oh, no, the RP stuff is still at. Oh, I was doing the overall. I need to make the verse righty because we only have righty batters. So we'll take this down to 400 maybe. Ooh, what a close guess. What a close guess. I think 551 is close enough. Oh, no, you know what? I'm looking right now. I was looking at the starting pitcher one by mistake. This is supposed to be 350. And I'm probably supposed to leave these as is. Yeah, that gets us the 550 versus righties. I was reading the starting pitcher one by mistake. All right, so the stuff now is up to 550. The raw movement goes to 550. Let's just make the VR and everything else should calculate. Yeah, good. 550. 550. Why is the splittiness so high? I had it set to 1 before. Can I still set it to 1? Oh, then it takes this down. So then I have to take this to 550. Alright, that's fine. Still takes it up. Okay. It's a bit of a mishmash, but I think that's fine. Alright, so this is a perfect relief pitcher. Next up is perfect starting pitcher. We go SP1. Let's do the strategy first. Oh, you know what? I don't think I set the strategy for relief pitcher. That's an important one, too. I don't want him ending up in the rotation. Force roll starting pitcher. Let's go back and adjust that before I forget. Force roll. Now, do I set reliever or closer? Ideally, I would want them to use him as a stopper, but I think it's closer. All right, starting pitcher. We already did the strategy, right? Use force use as player strategy. That's not what I want. Oh, okay, he is already forced to use the starting pitcher. Got it. Done. Perfect. SP. Okay, now this formula is 100 plus 550 fastball, 415 slider. And there we are, 550 versus righties. Yeah, let's just do this. Okay. All right. That's perfect starting pitcher. And then shortstop is the last one left. Perfect shortstop. Let's do the strategy first. Force use at shortstop. Oh, wait, it's 225. Did I make that mistake with other ones? I hope I didn't. Now I have to go back and check. Okay, Nerve Anarchy says nope. Thank you, Nerve Anarchy. Shortstop only. Perfect. Alright, so everyone should be done. With this pitchers, I don't think I need to set. There's a DH, so I don't need to set their secondaries. And then did I set the right fielder's strategy? That's an important thing. Otherwise, the AI will play him in center field. Yep. Okay. Everything looks good. Right field only. Yeah, I only have 8 spots dangerously, so the earlier decision was between third base and first base for corner infield. That third base seemed like the more highly leveraged position. If third base is kind of close to the top, then I might rerun it later with third base and first base. Thank you, Speckle. More scritches for Crouton. There you go, buddy. More scritches for Crouton. Alright. By the way, remember how Crouton was having what we thought were seizures? And then it turns out they were syncope, which is like a passing out kind of episode. I forgot who mentioned it. Oh, I know. It was someone I know in real life who mentioned that they had someone in their family change their dog's food, and their syncope episodes went away. So we had changed his dog food a couple of years ago. So I went back and started buying the food that he used to eat, and no episodes since then. It's only been a few weeks, but pretty good start. So things are looking up for the old Crouton. Okay, so this is where I think let's go ahead and set up the wager, and I have to do that perfect draft. And I may have actually already missed it now that I look at the time. So let's set up the wager. All right, which team will have the highest run differential? I'm going to have to abbreviate to run diff. All right, and the choices are team catcher, team second base, team third base, team shortstop, team left. No, sorry, team center. I'm going around the positions, and then SP and RP. All right, we'll give 5 minutes for that. All right, good luck. Let me save this real quick. We'll save as a quick start. This is going to be the 1 season version of this. I'm actually going to change it to the 5 season version before we run it. Times 1. Oh, it won't let me do the times 1, so we'll do 1. Merge all 8 teams into 1 league. Each team gets 1 perfect player. Catcher, second base, third base, shortstop, left field, oh no, center field, right field, SP, RP. Okay. Alright, let me switch. Let me see if I can still draft that team. I think I might have missed it. It might be too late. I think I think we just finished the 20-minute grace period. I think I missed it. Oh no, I have 7 minutes left to draft it. Which means the grace period probably starts in 7 minutes. So I probably have 27 minutes to do 2 drafts. Yeah, it is a small sample size, but I'm optimistic. Wow, an episode of Curse of Oak Island where they don't find anything, which is every episode, but also no Emma, who is my favorite. All right, I've got 2 of the same draft to do, and I've got 27 minutes to do 2 drafts. What's the ballpark here? Oh, all neutral. So we're gonna go Aaron Judge. Oh, so lately I've been getting 100s in the second and third rounds too, but we don't get one today. So this part we're gonna prioritize position. Center field is hard to get a decent center fielder, but Churio's only a 70. That's not great. And Mookie's an 81 at short. That might be better, even though the bat's not as good. I think I'm going to go Mookie here. And the perfect we get in round 3 is Mason Miller. I'm not. Well, maybe this experiment will prove me wrong, but I'm not going Mason Miller. It's Marte Caminera, and actually, I like taking. I think I can find a better second baseman. I don't think I'll find as good of a bat as Caminero here, so I'll go Caminero. Yeah, I'm not opposed to taking Trang. I think he's very good. His card is quite good. Okay, Grisham is an 79 in center. The one I've been taking a lot of center lately has been Dalton Varsho, because he's a 1-0 something in center. And he's got 105 power, I think. But I think I'm going to take Grisham as my center fielder. I usually don't take pitchers until the silver round, but Framber's got what I like, which is home run suppression and stuff. But There's still better pitcher. There's still good pitchers coming in silver. I think O'Neal Cruz. I like the I like the power and I like the position flexibility. So I think we're going to go O'Neal Cruz. I know I'm leaving some. Oh, here's the. Oh man, I already took Grisham. Okay, know what? Grisham's going to play left. Varsham's going to play 108 center field. Cruz is going to move to the infield. That's why I took Cruz. That flexibility is sweet. Now I'd rather have Adamas, but I will take Tovar. Actually, I might not need Tovar. Third short. Cruz is probably going to play. He can play second. Or I could take a pitcher here. Alright, let's take Ashcraft. Herrera's bat's tempting, but his defense is atrocious, so we're gonna hold off on that. Alright, go two pitchers here. We're a little behind on pitchers, so we'll have to go two pitchers. Might take Baldwin as my catcher. Or I might go two more pitchers because we are still behind on pitchers. We'll go Baldwin Martinez. Um, oh, did I not? I thought I had to take a second baseman earlier. Did I pass on him? I think I did. I think I did. All right, so we'll go pitcher first. I think Manzardo he's bad in the field, but I do like his bat. We're falling behind on arms again, though. I don't love that. I did, yeah. Okay, you're right, D-Block. I passed up on the second baseman to put, yeah. In hindsight, maybe not such a great decision. Wow, no arms here. I'm behind on arms and there's no arms here. Yeah, what's my position coverage look like? All right, Grisham's actually my left fielder. I don't know what the AI is doing here. All right, so Grisham's my left fielder. Oh, it's playing Caminero at second. Yeah, actually, it's right because he's such a bad third baseman. Who's better at turn double play? I thought it would be Cruz. Huh. All right, let's find a second baseman then. I think Grisham's fine in left. Lawler would be good there. I mean, it doesn't have to be in this round necessarily. It's a pretty rough round. All right, we'll take Ritter and Can zone, I guess. Although, if we're looking DH, no, that 40 avoid K is a little too rough. We still need a backup catcher, and we only have one more left after this round. But we are also behind on arms. Okay, am I going to regret passing Jake Rogers? Probably. So we'll take Jake Rogers. Dick Fitz. Dick Fitz is back. My college roommate and I, he's from Massachusetts and he moved back there after school. He's the one who told me that Dick Fitz was in the Red Sox organization, but he was like, he changed his name, man. He's going by Richard now. And we were like, what? That's a bummer. I think we got to go 2 arms here, and then we'll hopefully go 2 more in this round. Oh, we got a Hoppy here. I guess I can't be too upset. I mean, Rogers is a better defensive catcher for power. Okay, I want to take 2 arms, but I don't think I can pass up Carson Williams here. To me, one of the best infield bronze cards. Both fielding and bat are really good for bronze. The Miller profile's come down quite a bit since OOTP 26 ended. I'm thinking Peralta's really good. All right, we'll go Peralta. All right, I have to take 3 pitchers this round, though, which is a little concerning. Oh, okay. There are some not terrible pitchers here, so I'm pretty happy. We're going to have to take 1 bad pitcher. Suter and Halverson are not bad. So it'll either be Agnos or Wilson. They both have bad HRA, but Wilson has some stuff. Hopefully that can help keep him out of trouble. Loperfido, not bad. What does my position coverage look like? Okay, Ritter's backing up all 3 infield spots, so maybe we need a backup infielder. Holy cow, he's also second backup in 2 outfield spots. Okay, so Loperfido will take the load off on outfield. I'd like to take Cam Smith, but he's pretty bad in the field, in the infield. So I might have to take Kim or Sagasy, but I don't like their bats. Their bats are bad. All right, Ritter can back up on defense, and then we'll take Cam Smith to back up at in at bat. Okay, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. We got to knock out these drafts, so we're 4 minutes into the 20-minute grace period now. All right, I do want to go all lefty rotation, so we're gonna go Spence for Gasser. Bradley, Cavalli, Martinez, Spence. Okay, and then we'll work on the bullpen later. I will slot in the strategy in case I don't have time, and it fires. Okay, so that one's good to go. Let me switch accounts, and we have about 15 more minutes to draft the other one. By the way, this doesn't feel rushed to me at all because I draft most of my drafts like speed drafts. Now, I've been a little slower because we're starting a new cycle. We have all new cards and stuff, but... And, you know, probably to my detriment. I'm sure if I took a little more time, but... I just don't have a lot of time most times. So, okay, live breakfast. Oh, no, that was the only one. This one doesn't. This one I can do after a stream. That was the only one that fires right away. So now let me go finish the lineups on that, and then we'll go back to the experiment. Did I just log back into the same account? No, here it is. Live all night long. Live all night. Okay, so the bullpen. AI does not like my righties. It put all the lefties in the high leverage spots. All right, Peralta's my best lefty reliever, but his stamina is only a 13. All right, so we're going to have a Peralta in the closer spot. We'll move Gasser down. Hall's going to be my lefty stopper. Now, if I have a good enough one, I do like to match him with a righty stopper. But I don't know if I have a good enough righty. I don't think I do. Brad Lord's close. I'll worry about that 61 stuff, though. I mean, honestly, Halverson's probably closer, but he has no stamina. All right, so we'll go Halverson set up. Gasser or Suter. Gasser set up. I don't know. Lord's not as good, but I think I need to bump him up to stopper. Or no, we can go. All right. Yeah. All right. I'm just gonna do it. I don't love it, but I'm gonna do it. Oh, this is where Lord can back up middle relief and Halverson will back up closer. That'll help kind of mitigate my concerns a little bit there. Okay, and then batting orders. We'll go Baldwin VR. We'll bump Varsho up. We'll bump Grisham up. And then versus lefties. Anyone not starting who should be starting? I don't think so. It looks pretty good. Yeah, I guess Manzardo starts both ways. All right, it's something like this. Man, O'Neal Cruz can steal, huh? All right. Not too bad. All right, let's go back to the game here. Let's see how the predictions look. Oh, we only had 2 wagers. They were for second base or shortstop. Which makes sense. Those are very logical choices. Yeah, I think I would personally go center field or shortstop. I am interested to see the comparison between SP and RP after the discussion in chat earlier. Okay, this is the 1x season. We're going to boost this now to the 5x season. I already have the quick start for the 1x season, so we can always go back and run that if we want to. This is the 5x season. 810 games. We need a schedule. I'm going to save this, and then we'll save this as a quick start. This is the 5x version. Okay. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see what the AI thinks. Generating MLB season predictions. MLB reports and info, preseason predictions. So run differential is not easy to see here, but let's assume the record is going to roughly reflect the run differential. Center field is first. The 3 worst are catcher, starting pitcher, and relief pitcher. Right. And this really makes 25 stand out because catcher was, I think, second or third in 25. And that was all, in hindsight, it was all framing related. Hey, look, we never see this. A relief pitcher in the top 10 pitchers. We never see this in the preseason predictions, but we're seeing it tonight because we put a perfect relief pitcher out there. This is history. You can see too the impact of not playing as many games. The catcher is projected to only have 171 home runs, whereas all the other batters, they all have 550 power, right? But it's based on the number of games. Now, what doesn't make sense to me is the second baseman also has 550 power, projected to only have 225 home runs. Now, some of that, and the shortstop too. It's almost like this middle infielder bias persists even though they have the ratings. They have 550 power just like everybody else. Why are they projecting to fewer home runs? You know what's interesting also? There's no bit limitation on the projections because this third baseman did not reset at 256. And the center field did not reset at 256. So that bit limitation is only in the standings or only in the live season. It's not in the preseason predictions. That's wild. But why are second base and shortstop predicted to have fewer home runs? That's such a middle infield stereotype bias. Like that's weird that it's playing out that way. And why does center field have more stolen bases? They all have the same base running. They have the same stealing aggressiveness. I wonder, did the lineups not get adjusted? No, the perfect catcher is batting cleanup. Oh, the perfect second baseman is batting eighth. Okay, that's probably what it is. All right, so I think because I put myself in charge of all these teams, we need to ask for new lineups. Okay, second baseman is batting third now. So actually, okay, so the reason the ratings were, the projections were messed up is because the lineups were not changed. And the lineups still seem to reflect some sort of bias because why are the center fielders always leading off? There's no reason for that. All right, perfect catcher is batting third. Perfect center fielder is now batting third. Perfect third baseman now batting third. Perfect right fielder now batting third. Perfect relief pitcher. Stays in closer role. Perfect starting pitcher. That's interesting. It stayed on strict on occasion highest rested. We're going to change this to always start highest rested. We're going to maximize his starts. And then team shortstop. Shortstop is probably still batting eighth. Batting ninth. Okay, now that hopefully will fix the bias. I would like to save this as a new quick start, but I'm out of letters. I could eliminate this space and just call it, or we'll call it perf po 5A. Updated lineups and pitching staffs. Unfortunately, I did that after getting the opening day, which is not ideal. But well, ideally he'd be a stopper, D block. Actually, like yeah, we can do. The only thing is I couldn't. There's it. This is interesting. In the strategy section for a relief pitcher, it doesn't give you the option to force start at stopper. It only gives you starting pitcher, reliever, or closer. So I guess I could set this as reliever. And then in the pitching staff, set him as stopper. Okay. I do like that better than just closer. All right, let's run it. And the reason I didn't put him in middle relief is I want him in higher leverage situations. All right, let's do the first year. Why is shortstop so bad, relatively speaking? Okay, shortstop is moving up. Shortstop moving up again. Shortstop back down to the cellar. All right, moving up. Part of it is everyone's so close that like a few wins or losses have a big swing. Second base has now been bumped by center field. Second base back from top. Shortstop is now in the top half, top three. Right field has now jumped up to second place. Now shortstop is in second place. Again, this is not run differential though. We said we would make our decision based on run differential. 60 game on base streak by perfect shortstop is amazing. 51 consecutive stolen bases by perfect third base, also amazing. 22 game shutdown streak by perfect relief pitcher. Nice. These are great. We've got guys hitting 400, of course. We've got one starting pitcher with a sub 2 ERA. The relief pitcher is second in our war. Oh, that's interesting. The relief pitcher on team relief pitcher is not in the top of saves. How many? He only has 15 saves. I guess because everyone else on the team is average, they're getting pounded probably by the teams that have better better batters. So he's not getting as many saves because when he comes in, he's got a 1.48 ERA. What's his whip? 0.67 whip. That's interesting. All right, let's do another year. Yeah, without framing being strong in 27, catcher is in last place out of the position players. I'm a little surprised right field is so strong right now. I thought it would be center field and one of the middle infielders in the top two. And again, we're still looking at win losses right now. We're going to look at run differential. But yeah, as we get more games and as irons out all the RNG, we can have a little more confidence in these results. But the differences are so slight that my degree of confidence in the statistical significance of differences is pretty low. I think between like the bottom third and the top third, bottom half and top half, maybe you can definitely say there's a difference. All these records are incredible. All right, let's zoom to the end of the regular season. Still center field and right field. Their shortstop is coming close to catching up. I wonder if the right fielder is being played in center field, even though I told the AI not to. That would explain why they're so similar. We could look at their fielding stats and see where they're actually being played. All right, we have one game left. Oh, imagine that. Perfect starting pitcher won the pitching triple crown. All right, it is. Okay, let's look at team right fielder. I want to see if this right fielder was actually used. He is playing right field. Huh. He only played right field. The AI did do what I asked. 53.9 zone rating, 27.9 arm. Amazing. So how is center fielder doing then? .139 zone rating, but 21 arm. Interesting. All right, let's knock out the playoffs. It is center field versus right field in a virtual tie at the end of the season. Oh, what happened? It went too fast. Team center field won in a 7-game World Series. All right, this is really interesting. Let's see what the stats look like. Can I get run differential here? Here's runs allowed. Here's runs scored. I want run differential. All right, I might have to set up a spreadsheet. uh, is run differential one of them? It wouldn't be a pit batting or pitching stat. It'd be That's fine. I can set up a spreadsheet. That's not hard to do. Hey, Star, happy OOTP27 to you as well. All right, let me set up the spreadsheet. Let me make it. It's so funny to me that there's not a default dark template, but let me set up as a dark template. Okay, team. Let me show what I'm doing here. All right, team runs. Sorry, I just started coughing a bunch. Runs scored. Runs allowed. Okay, it looks like the order is in the order we set it up. So catcher, center field, right field, third base, starting pitcher, relief pitcher. Okay. All right, look at runs scored. Oh, now we're out of order. This is the order in which they place. So let me switch the order in the spreadsheet to this order. Center field, right field, shortstop, second base, third base, catcher. SBRP. Okay. Runs scored. 3991 4148 3967. No, sorry. 3828. No, it's 3967. Hold on, let me check these again. 3991 4148 3967. No. Yeah. 3996 4028 3726 3196 and 3120. Okay, runs allowed. We're going to flip over to these team pitching stats, and we'll look at these in more depth. I just want to get a first cut at the run differential. All right, runs allowed. Center field, 3545. Right field, 3839. Shortstop, 3738. Second base, 3831. Third base, 3880. Catcher, 3837. Starting pitcher, 3723. How come starting pitcher gave? All right, we'll just do it, and then we'll relief pitcher gave up the most runs. 4035. Okay, R diff. Okay. I mean, that's pretty interesting to me. First of all, the one loss records did correlate exactly with the run differentials. I think that's the benefit of the 5X season is we iron through a lot of the RNG stuff that might have caused there to be a discrepancy between run differential and their placing in the one loss record. I'm still surprised that right field came in ahead of shortstop and second base. Would not have guessed that. All right, well, let's take a look at some of these stats and see if anything jumps out at us. I mean, the batting stats should be pretty similar, except for the fact that I don't know why shortstop has so many fewer home runs. Third base actually has fewer home runs, too. Let's look at our top players and see if they played fewer games. So our center fielder. Let's look at bats. 2565. Our right fielder. 2634. Our shortstop. 2516. Our second baseman, 2564, and our third baseman, 2592. So the third baseman had fewer home runs, but it doesn't seem like it was necessarily because of the number of games played. Yeah, why did the shortstop hit so many fewer home runs? I mean, I get with the catcher because the catcher had way fewer at bats. And the third baseman unfortunately flipped the bits, so he actually probably had 268. But we have established that the team totals are not impacted by this bit flipping. Second baseman, too, actually flipped the bit. Because he's got 8 home runs. Why was the shortstop hit so many fewer home runs? I think by far the fewest other than the catcher. In fact, most of the other position players flipped it. Is there a positional bias in how many home runs you hit, even if you're at the same power rating? I mean, that seems like a silly thing to code into a game. Like, why should the shortstop hit fewer home runs? Is it just coincidence? I mean, 5x season would suggest we ironed out all those coincidences. I mean, don't get fooled by the fact he led the league in home runs. He was only one of two players that didn't flip back to zero because he and the catcher are the only ones who didn't get to 256. That's very strange. If we do this like 5, 10 times, and it's always a shortstop having the fewest home runs, even though they all have the same power rating, and not just 85, like down to the single digit on the 600 scale, they all have 550 power. There's no reason for the shortstop to. I think I just need to run this a few more times, and if it's always the shortstop coming in second to last in home runs, then the only thing I can think of is that it's coded to let shortstops hit fewer home runs, which would be kind of crazy. It could just be coincidence this one time, but with a 5x season, you would think like we've seen it power through other coincidental things, and by the time we get to 5x, those quirks have ironed themselves out. But this seems like a weird one. At least the center fielder didn't have the most stolen bases, because that's another thing that seems weird. That all the teams have their center fielder leading off. Well, yeah, that's because everyone in the league is identical, Star. So everyone in the league. So I looked up the major league average height and the major league average player weight, and I made all the players that average. So they're all 6'2", 210. But yeah, it's on the tall side. Like Cal Ripken was like 6'3" or 6'4", and he always seemed gigantic for a shortstop. So yeah, 6'2" is pretty tall for a shortstop. But that shouldn't cause him to hit fewer home runs though. I'm hoping it's just coincidence, but we'll see. Maybe we'll run this back a few times and see what happens. But in general, I had no surprises this year. In PT25, I think the framing caused the catcher to jump up several spots. For me, the big surprise was that shortstop and second base were behind right field. Center field was not a surprise. I thought top would be center field or short. But I am surprised that right field came ahead of shortstop and second base. And yeah, this is over the course of 5 seasons, so I do think we powered through a lot of the R and G quirks here. Bregman lost 2 inches. What, when they relisted him in the infield? When they changed his position, did they cut down his listed height? Oh, because they're actually being measured correctly. That's funny. Did Bregman really lose 2 inches? That's funny. That's really funny. I noticed that in undergrad too. Like we had uh, two players on our team that were listed as 7 feet tall, and I would see them on campus all the time. And one was legit 7 feet tall. The other one was like, "Dude, you're 6'10 tops." I just walked past the 7 footer. He's 7 feet tall. You're not 7 feet tall. Yeah, I think in football and basketball, there's like a psychological or PR benefit to being listed as 6'6" instead of 6'4", or in football, being 310 instead of 290. But yeah, and then it always came through in the combine. Like we had a power forward one year who was listed as 6'9", and then when they got to the combine, they were like, "Yeah, this guy's 6'6". And it became really apparent when they did like the vertical leap test and stuff, right? Because like his starting point is not 6'9". His starting point is 6'6". So you can't hide that stuff once you start to do the measurements. All right. Well, I mean, this is a good test in that I think it did kind of support some of the hypotheses that many of us have about positions and their relative importance. I am pleasantly surprised that there were some unexpected things. Second and short coming in behind right field for me was a big one. It makes sense to me that catcher is back at the bottom of the position players because they missed so many games, and there is no longer the framing benefit to offset that. And then yeah, I mean the SPRP thing did make him a stopper. Actually, let's see how many games he appeared in as a stopper. 144 games over 5 seasons. So the equivalent of. So he was probably underutilized, right? That's only. No, that can't be right. I wonder if this also had a bit flip in it. Because 465 innings, that's 4 innings. That's 3.5 innings per start, per appearance. That seems like too many. Let's look at his game log. Let's look at his pitching game log. Yeah, he's pitching an inning at a time. So they're definitely we lost some games there from a bit, just like we did with the home runs. So if we lost 255 games, would that make more sense? Right. So if it was 144 plus 255, that's 399. So 465 and 2/3 in 399 games makes more sense. So he's appearing in about 80 games a season. So that's a lot. He's getting used a lot. So it's definitely not underutilized. So I think these are legit. And the problem is, of course, they're facing teams that have a monster batter in the lineup. So what really matters is the run difference between the SP team and the RP team, because those are the only two teams that don't have a monster batter on them. Star's first Twitch drop for me, all live in 4 dupes. Amazing. I'm screenshotting that comment. Is so good. That that is funny, Star. Thank you for sharing that. That is good. Amazing. All right, I gotta paste that and save that. That's too good. And thanks for chatting. Apparently, I've learned from D Block, who is already a Twitch partner, that the number of people chatting also contributes to the stats for trying to make Twitch partner. So I started a partner push today actually. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna do this every March. I put it in my Discord every March because March turns out to be when I get the most viewers. I'm gonna try, and I'm either gonna get it eventually or maybe they'll tell me to go away. But every March I'm gonna try. Well, congratulations on your 2 non-dupes. So yeah, this is pretty telling data actually. I mean, we did. It feels like we maximize usage. If he's getting 80 games a season, it's just not preventing enough runs versus the starter going every 5 games apparently. Because the team still gave up 400 fewer runs than the team with the perfect stopper pitching 80 games a season. Part of it too is I think probably by the time that stopper comes into the game, like a lot of the damage has been done. Right? Because other than when they face team starting pitcher, they're facing a monster bat at least, you know, 4 or 5, depending on how the games go, because they do have this perfect batter 6 times a game, right? And these guys are hitting bombs and stuff, so you can't give all this. They're hitting 450. They're hitting bombs. I still am interested to see why the shortstop is hitting the fewest home runs. I I may speed sim this a few times. We'll just do it during the week. We'll speed sim it a few times, and we'll see if shortstop still keeps coming in last. I can't think of a game reason other than the fact that it's coded that way for it to happen that way. I at first I thought maybe shortstop is considered a more demanding position, so they fatigue more. But if you let's look at games played by player, by perfect player. Right, perfect games played is what I'll call it. And we'll just go through. Okay, the second baseman played 768 games. And had 32 10 plate appearances. All right, then let's look at Now the catcher we expect. Oh wait, I went out of order. That was second base. Let's look at center field. $774 games played, so they did play a few more games than the second baseman. And 32 4-1 plate appearances. Okay, team right field. And as I'm going through these, let me know if you notice something in the stat lines that's like worth taking a look at. All right, perfect right fielder. Okay, did play a few more games. 782 and 3265 plate appearances. Actually, should we also look at games started? Because the right fielder only started 698. So that's about 140 game equivalent. It's not a lot of games. Let's go back and look at team center fielder. Games started by the center fielder. 684. Okay, let's look at team shortstop. It's weird though. They still came in third in run differential and third in the standings, while hitting the fewest home runs. 700. So no deficit in games played. Maybe no real deficit in games started. And no deficit in plate appearances. They're just hitting fewer home runs, even though they all have the exact same power rating. All right, team second base. 768 games, 690 games started, 3210 plate appearances. Team third base. 782 games. 687 games started. 3260 plate appearances. And then catcher. Now catcher we expect to have a lot fewer games. Right, that's the primary reason I was told not to take catchers in round one for a perfect draft. And it's true, they're playing about 10% fewer games. They're starting even fewer. They're starting 100 games fewer in 687 games, 690 games. So, like 13% fewer, 14% fewer. That's a pretty big difference. And they're losing about 500 plate appearances on 36. So 500 over 5 seasons. So they're losing about 100 plate appearances per season. So it's not nothing. It's definitely not nothing. All right, so this is what it looks like if you look at the games played. Right, so of course catcher is going to be lower, and they are. But shortstop is not lower. Shortstop is right up in there with them. Now they do have the fewest games started, but only by 3 and 6 over the course of 5 seasons. So just one game behind the third baseman and the center fielder. The right fielder did start the most games, but again, it's a very small difference. They're all playing about the same number of games. In fact, the shortstop played more games on the center field than the second baseman. They just started fewer games. And they had more player appearances than the second baseman or the center fielder. Yet they hit the fewest home runs, besides the catcher. I need to investigate this. I'm I need to either support or dispel my suspicion that the game is nerfing shortstops even if they have the same power. It is possible, right? Like the game nerfs DHs. Like the rationale is that like there's an actual in real life DH penalty that's been observed, and so they tried to recreate that in the game. But it would be weird if they nerf shortstops just because their shortstops are even at the same power rating. Well, let me not get ahead of myself. Let me not assume that's the case. Let me run this a few times. In fact, maybe that's what I'll do instead of generating creator roster players for tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Nerd of Anarchy, if you want to keep your streak alive, 11 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow. I'm planning a stream. I may have to cancel for work reasons, but I'm planning a stream at that time. I think there's no one on the calendar right then. I might overlap it a little bit with Lap, depending on how long he goes, but I'm planning to raid into Dr. Dynastic. So I was going to do a bunch of player creation tests, but I may have to just run this shortstop thing, run this position thing over and over. I mean, hopefully the shortstop's not lasting home runs right off the bat, and then I don't have to, assume there's some sort of shenanigans going on with shortstops. All right, let's see. Let's figure out what we're going to rate tonight. Midnight Sumo. The Sumo tournament is over. Let's see. Chugi is streaming. Oh, MLB The Show. That could be interesting. How long is... So I like Nocturnal Hannah stream quite a bit. She plays vintage video games. And her stream has a real cool vibe I like a lot. But she also tends to end around the time I'm ending, so... Yeah, she goes about 5.5 hours, and she just got to the end of her game. So, I don't think that's a great choice for tonight. We haven't rated Tugi in a while. I think it'd be fun to rate Tugi again. Yeah. Alright, let's rate Tugi. He's playing baseball, even though it's MLB The Show. Oh, wait. You know what? I did forget to look to see if anyone's streaming OOTP right now. Are there any affiliate streamers going right now? Nope. Alright, so I feel good about rating Tugi. So, possibly 11 a.m. Pacific tomorrow. Definitely 10 p.m. Pacific tomorrow. Actually, maybe earlier since Ezra's not streaming tomorrow night. So yeah, so look for me to start a little bit earlier tomorrow night since Ezra's not streaming. And I don't have to take care of the kids tomorrow night since they'll be out of town. Okay, so anyone like Nerd of Anarchy who's got a viewing streak going that you don't want to end. 11 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow, most likely. I may start as early as 7:30 to just follow Hollywood Tie. right? The whole reason I stream at 10 Pacific time is that's usually when life and family and work stuff allow. But if that's not a concern, I may start at 7:30 and then maybe end like at 8 or 9. Or no, probably not 8 or 9. But we have a lot of player creation tests to do. So I might still go till like 10 or 11 Pacific time. But I may try to go on early and end early tomorrow. So let's plan on that. So if you want to see the player creation test for creator roster and start getting a sense of what's going on, I think these are some good streams to check out. I did this last cycle too. 8,000 players created at every position level intersection. So 8,000 legend level starting pitchers, star level starting pitchers, 8,000, scrub level first baseman, bench level first baseman, the whole matrix, 8,000 players at a time. And then I just crunch the data. The data crunching might happen in another stream or it might happen off stream, but then I will share the findings with you like I did last time. But yeah, that'll start 11 a.m. Pacific tomorrow and then sometime tomorrow night. Probably early, much earlier than usual. But yeah, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for all the chatting. Apparently that does help with the partner push, so I do appreciate everyone being vocal in the chat tonight. And I hope you all keep that up for the next month or so, however long it takes them to decide this application period. And then we'll start it all again next March if we have to. All right. Hope to see you tomorrow morning, and then definitely hope to see you tomorrow night. Oh, and yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Ezra Denny for the raid, as always. Thanks for bringing in your audience. And have a good night at the... Wait, did he... Where is he going again? I was going to say he's going to the game, but there's no Giants games yet, so... Anyway, wherever you're going, Ezra, I hope you have a good time tomorrow.